Hi everyone, my name is Mugabe Peace and I serve with young people from the corporates group and the women's ministry. Yesterday we had a Discovery Bible study and this is what we shared. We read from John chapter 8 from verse 1 up to 11. It goes, "Everyone else went home, but Jesus walked out to the Mount of Olives. Then early the next morning, he went out to the temple. The people came to him and he sat down and started teaching them. The Pharisees and the teachers of the law of Moses brought in a woman who had been caught in bed with a man who wasn't her husband. They made her stand in the middle of the crowd. Then they said, 'Teacher, this woman was caught sleeping with a man who isn't her husband. The law of Moses teaches that a woman like this should be stoned to death. What do you say?' They asked Jesus this question because they wanted to test him and bring some charge against him. But Jesus simply bent over and started writing on the ground with his finger. They kept on asking Jesus about the woman. Finally, he stood up and said, 'If any of you has never sinned, then go ahead and throw the first stone at her.' Once again, he bent over and began writing on the ground. The people left one by one, beginning with the oldest. Finally, Jesus and the woman were there alone. Jesus stood up and asked her, 'Where is everyone? Isn't there anyone left to accuse you?' 'No, sir,' the woman answered. Then Jesus told her, 'I am not going to accuse you either. You may go now, but don't sin anymore.' Now, what stood out for me is that Jesus is willing to receive us at any time, regardless of what we have done, regardless of how astray, how far we have gone. When the Pharisees and the teachers of the law were accusing this woman, Jesus didn't. He instead asked the woman to go and sin no more. So we learn that Jesus is merciful and we learn to stay away from sin, just as he said in the last verse that, 'I am not going to accuse you either. You may go now, but don't sin anymore.' The other thing that I learned is not to judge, because we are all sinners, sinning differently. These Pharisees and the teachers of law that were accusing this woman were also sinners, because when we read the verse 7, they said, they kept on asking Jesus about the woman. Finally, he stood up and said, 'If any of you has never sinned, then go ahead and throw the first stone.' So all of them left one by one, from the oldest to the last person. They all left, meaning they all sinned. They had all sinned. So I learned not to judge others because I am also a sinner. But still, Jesus calls me because he is merciful.